I knew instantly what he wanted when he messaged me that cold, wintry afternoon in February of 2021. It had been snowing for 3 days, which gave us only one thing to do while hiding out from the blistering wind and frozen precipitation, and that was to hide out in our warm houses. His fiery red hair suggested that maybe he had no soul and would want to kill me, but I knew better, especially with the way he bit his lip and looked at my lips and then deeply into my eyes. I knew he wanted to discuss a movie. But what he didn't know is that this podcast contains spoilers for Wonder Boys. You have been warned.
And it was here at this time he proclaimed, "What's up, everybody? My name is Glenjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto." He looked longingly into the microphone before he said a word, but really what he wanted to say was,
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
melodically. Hi, Mike.
Hi, how's it going?
It's a nice little change of pace from time to time,
Yeah,
right there.
definitely. I did my best to imitate a novelist in the turn of the millennium, but I probably failed. But anyway, how you doing?
I'm not bad, my man.
That's
We
good.
had a nice little snowstorm here for
Yes.
the last 2 days, which was so much fun.
Yeah, it was. Peanut
All I did
loves
was
it.
look at it.
Peanut lost her legs in the snow.
It was gorgeous.
I share a driveway with my neighbor who has a snowplow, so my shoveling is very minimal, thankfully.
Oh, you lucky dog.
Yeah, because you've seen how big my driveway is. If I had to shovel even like a fraction of that,
Even how steep it is, too.
yeah. I mean, all I have to do is, like, he leaves like a foot of snow in front of my car, which I have to get, and then in front of my garage,
Yeah.
which is smart if you don't want to get sued for damage. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I get why he does that. But yeah, anyway, that's my story. How's your snow days going?
I got to sit in my room and look at it because I don't
Yeah.
have to go anywhere. So
Yeah,
that was
and
fun.
I saw you watched a few movies, a little bit more than normal.
Technically, no. I watched 3, which one of them was our movie.
Okay, well, I think it was just that they were all today that it was like, oh, maybe.
Yeah, I just usually on Tuesdays would just crank out a bunch of movies. I'm like, yeah, I need to catch up.
Yeah. Were any of them crank?
No, I haven't watched that in a little bit.
you didn't-
But there is
you
a
didn't
Glenn's
crank out
review on the YouTube channel. Just give it a... It's such a segue.
What'd you watch this week?
Well, let me start by saying the first movie that I watched today was The Dig, which has Ray Fiennes, Carey Mulligan, Lily James, a bunch of other people in it. It was actually, I think it like literally just came out, quite actually literally,
Yeah.
because it popped up. It was on number 3, and I was like, you know what? That looks. I seen Carey Mulligan enough that I want to see this, and then I realized Ray Fiennes was in it, and I was like, oh shoot! And then I realized Lily James was in it, and then I realized that this was a movie about an archaeologist, or more matter of fact, an excavator, which is Ray Fiennes. It was really cool. It was like a. I don't know what Lily James's obsession is. I don't even know if it's technically an obsession, but she's in a lot of World War II movies.
Yeah.
At least 2, which is insane.
I mean, she's got a
Wow.
very classic look.
True.
So she probably gets called for them a lot.
It was kind of a nice. It was a nice movie. It was like I don't really see like other than The Mummy, really that many like excavation type archaeologist movies.
I used to want to be an archaeologist, so I'm very intrigued.
Yeah,
I knew nothing
think
about
you'll
this.
Like it.
I knew nothing about this and just saw the title, and I was like, I mean, Ray Fiennes, that's enough to watch a movie. I'll watch it one day, but now that I know it's about archaeology, I will definitely watch it.
Yeah, I might have given it a higher score than I should have, but you know what? I don't care.
Hey, don't apologize. Don't you, apologize one bit, little Gunjamin Button.
Maybe because it's just been a while since I saw a movie. I was like, wow, a whole week. I'm going to give this one extra special love. It's like, it was really good. I enjoyed it. And then after that, I watched our movie, which we will discuss. And then I watched one called Six Balloons, which has Abby Jackson, Dave DeFranco, a couple other people in there as well. Came out in 2018. It's about a this girl, Abby Jacobson, plays, who finds out that her brother is on heroin again, and she's like dragging him all around L.A. to like get him to detox, and just a lot of fun, just a lot of fun, really.
Is it a comedy?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
No,
Because
there's complete sarcasm.
all of those actors,
Yeah,
it could go like I know that it was gonna like touch softly on the addiction part. Like I didn't think it was gonna be 100% comedy.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't really that soft. It was.
Yeah.
It was no like Requiem for a Dream, but there's a certain point where it's pretty dark.
Yeah.
And then all these actors are pretty much comedians, and like there was not really any sight of comedy that much.
That's good.
It wasn't like exactly the darkest movie, but like it wasn't really lighthearted either. But like the parents of this like brother and sister of the siblings, if like this is completely a joke and it's a bad joke, and I'm sorry for anybody that actually gets offended by it, but they are so fucking chaotic in the beginning of this movie that I honestly think about doing heroin.
Oh my god!
Now that it's a lot to handle in the first like 5 minutes with the parents. It's just like, Mom, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Bad joke. Anyway, moving past it. Mike, what did you watch?
Was that all you watched? Oh yeah, you already said Dig. That's right. And then Wonder Boys. Yep. I watched 6 movies, including Wonder Boys. The first one I watched is a little documentary called The Last Blockbuster, which you could probably guess by the name is about The Last Blockbuster, and about Blockbuster as a whole. It's got a bunch of comedians in it, a few actors that all have ties to Blockbuster and everything. And so they.
Sorry, I'm just crying and old right now.
Oh yeah, I miss it. I want to drive to Bend, Oregon, or just travel to Bend, Oregon for the sole purpose of just like renting a movie, knowing that I can't really watch it because I'm on vacation there, and then just like paying to rent for it, and then putting it immediately back, just to support them. I actually bought their Blu-ray copy of it from them, and also a T-shirt to try to help support them.
Yeah, help them out.
Yeah, help them out. I dig it. I hope that at some point the whole nostalgia factor of renting comes back. Obviously, I don't think it could stand alone as its own business again, but you could have like a combined business of, like I've thought about one day opening like a movie theater smokehouse rental house.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Where you could eat if you wanted to, but then also rent a movie or watch a movie. I think that'd be pretty dope. But yeah, so that's a movie where if you're not really into movies or you don't remember Blockbuster, because I'm assuming everyone that is listening to this is old enough to have lived when Blockbuster was a thing. They might just not remember it.
It's either that or just their parents told them tales of the yonder.
Yes, the tales of the yonder
stores.
It was a great time, and they interview one guy who like absolutely hated it, and they're like and they like make a joke out of it, and then they interview the CEO, and he's just like, yeah, I don't think anyone misses Blockbuster. And the guy you hear the producer of the documentary just be like, we've got like a whole bunch of people just like saying they wish Blockbuster was back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, so yeah, that's that. I do suggest it if you love movies, especially if you miss Blockbuster. Then I went to see 2 movies in theaters. Me and John Clark saw Nomadland. I have not replaced you, Glenn. I just know
That's
that
okay.
I know you're short on money right now.
Yeah,
so.
it's not great.
Yeah, if I will invite you if I can afford to pay for you, or also,
you're good, buddy. It's all good.
Yeah, I love you.
Slightly heartbroken. There's a
I'm
chip.
sorry.
Oh, it just fell off. Look at
that. Anyway, we saw Nomadland, which is with Frances McDormand. Just to show you how desperate theaters are, an IMAX ticket right now is only $14.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Which, if there's any plus to this, is that I only had to pay $14 to see an IMAX movie that otherwise would probably not be an IMAX with Nomadland.
Yeah.
This movie was heartbreaking. It's essentially just like how there are so many people just being like left behind because there's no programs to retrain people. And also a lot of people, like once they go through like heartbreak or a traumatic situation, they just become nomads where they just kind of move and don't have a home. Well, they have a home, but they don't have like a physical house in a town.
Yeah.
And it's really like, it's beautiful, the humanity in it all, and I highly suggest it. Frances McDormand, she delivers a knockout performance as usual. Pretty much everyone else, with the exception of one or two people in the film, is just a person that they got to be in this film. And the director, Chloe Zhao, I think her name is, she is incredible, because whenever you have people who aren't actors and you can get knockout performances from them, that just goes to show you like how in tune you are with the story and with the people you're working with. So I cannot suggest Nomadland enough. It's a fantastic film. Then we watched the Italian version of Pinocchio, which came out in 2019, worldwide, but it came out in America in the end of 2020, and has been kind of sticking around because it's one of the only films that's out.
I was going to say, it's not much competition right now.
And it's starring Roberto Benigni, from Life is Beautiful fame. And this is the closest adaptation of the actual book Pinocchio that I am aware of, which makes sense because it's an Italian book and it's an Italian film. But it keeps its dark points. While it's definitely for kids, it's not for little kids like a lot of the newer Pinocchios are.
Because even the Disney version of it, it's pretty dark towards the end there.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to that, this is like, I don't want to say it's like R-rated, but like
it's in comparison, it feels like it.
Yeah, there are definitely parts that are hard to watch in it. But I didn't read the original book, but I read like an abridged version of the original book, which is marketed for kids, but still has like the dark aspects of it. Like there's one scene where these robbers are trying to literally kill Pinocchio, so they hang him from a tree by the neck, and because he's a puppet, he doesn't die. But like when you're a kid, that's still pretty dark. And I remember that being in the abridged version of the book. So it's very dark. But it's really good. It's I highly suggest it. It's definitely out there, which is good. So yeah, that's Pinocchio. Then I watched The Right Stuff, which is a 1983 movie about the first American astronauts, of course.
Yeah.
It's directed by Phil Kaufman, I believe, and it's got a whole cast of characters. Yeah, Philip Kaufman's directed it. It's got Fred Ward, Dennis Quaid, Ed Harris, Scott Glenn, Sam Shepard, Barbara Hershey. Jeff Goldblum's in there.
Goldblum.
Yeah, he's the best part for sure. And yeah, it's just about the first astronauts and test pilots and everything of the NASA program. It's a good movie, but I think it's a little long. It's like 3 hours, 15 minutes.
Holy crap.
It could probably be 2.5 hours and be brilliant.
Yeah.
But this was back in the time when, if a movie was going to be long, it was going to be long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do suggest it, but it is long, so prepare for that. Then I watched.
Well, at least you got some Goldblumiums to hold you in.
Yeah, he's hilarious in it, honestly. And then I watched Wonder Boys, which we'll get to in a minute. And then I just finished watching a couple hours ago, Joint Security Area, which is a Park Chan-wook movie. This is on the Criterion Collection, which you still have not asked me for my
I
my
gotta
login.
get on it. Well, technically I have it. I just haven't logged in yet.
That's true. Park Chan-wook movie that is about the DMZ. For those of you who don't know what the DMZ is, it stands for Demilitarized Zone. It is essentially the border of North Korea and South Korea, where there is a constant military standoff just to make sure that the other country doesn't pull any shit.
Yeah.
And this film is about a group of soldiers, 2 of which are South Korean, 2 of which are North Korean, that kind of build a friendship, and then things happen. And I don't want to say too much because I'll give it away.
Yeah.
But it's an incredible film. and really just kind of puts everything into perspective regarding the Korean War and the DMZ and all that. So yeah, it's Joint Security Area. I don't know where else you can watch it, but sign up for the Criterion channel because it's great.
Absolutely. I mean, you should already be on there.
Yeah.
If you're not, how dare you?
Yeah, Glenn.
Looking at me?
I mean, you're unemployed, so I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I watched. Let's get into some news. I'm going to go through my news first because I'm hoping yours is slightly happier.
Yeah.
There are 3 unfortunate, noteworthy deaths this week. One of which was a couple weeks ago, but it just was announced publicly yesterday. The first is Dustin Diamond, who played Screech on Saved by the Bell. He unfortunately passed away after a battle with cancer. And he was 44 years old. And, of course, he had a very iconic role on TV.
I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah. He was 40 in mid-40s. And, yeah, that's just kind of something that I was not expecting and very sad. And not to, move on too fast, but we don't want to keep the downer too much. Yeah. Then Hal Holbrook, who Oscar-nominated actor for his role in Into the Wild. He's also in films like Lincoln, All the President's Men. He's in The Fog. He plays Father Malone in The Fog. He's a very well-established actor. He died at the age of 95. I don't believe there was a cause of death. I think it might have just been natural causes with his age. I mean, he was the one that died a while ago and was just recently announced because he's already been buried. So he died on the 23rd of January. So yeah, he's if I have to suggest anything, his performance in Into the Wild is absolutely heartbreaking and fantastic. That's the one that got him his Oscar nomination. So definitely check that out if you haven't. That's Hal Holbrook, and then Cloris Leachman also died on the 27th of January. For many people would know her as Frau Blucher in Young Frankenstein. She was so hilarious and just one of the funniest actresses. She's in a movie called The Croods. A lot of people would know.
The Croods is a big one right now.
Yep, she's in a lot of TV shows like American Gods. The only reason I'm pausing is because she's got so much. I'm trying to find the ones people would know. Raising Hope, Phineas and Ferb, just to name a few of her shows. She was like one of Adam Sandler's go-tos for his films. So she's in a lot of Adam Sandler movies too, and she was hilarious. So yeah, she will also be missed. But that is all the news I got for this week. I'm hoping you can cheer us up a little bit, Glenn.
Yeah, let me just transition from that real quick. So I know how Mike feels about the Cloverfield movie. I don't know if I know you liked 10 Cloverfield Lane, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with the first one.
Yeah.
I was over found footage before found footage really blew up.
And then there was the Cloverfield Paradox, which was just was a thing. And now we just got an announcement that there will be a Cloverfield sequel, whether or not, if you want to put technicalities in it, I don't know. It's like a universe right now, so I don't know what that actually technically means, whether it'll take place at the same time as the first movie, or like a sequel to that, or if it's just another kind of like universe thing with that right now. Because the second movie was kind of like aliens and shit, and this one was like monster aliens maybe. It's a very confusing thing. But regardless, they're coming up with a sequel for it, so we got that there in the books. Mm-hmm. So there's that. There's kind of my movie news. Is that JJ's currently working on a sequel to Cloverfield.
Cool. Yeah, I still haven't seen the one that's on Netflix. I'll check that out. I've heard very mixed things about it. So
yeah, I want to give it a rewatch.
Yeah,
maybe try to watch all of them again.
Yeah,
even
I'll watch it just to watch it.
Great. But yeah, that's all I got. So there we go.
All right.
What a transition.
What a transition. So let's get into our film for this week, which is Wonder Boys.
Hello?
Where exactly are we going?
See my wife, the one that left you?
You shot Dr. Gaskell's dog.
I had to, didn't I?
You could have pulled him off me. I wish you hadn't shot my girlfriend's dog. Even though Poe and I were not exactly what you call simpatico, that's no reason he should have taken 2 in the chest.
Come on, Teach. I want you to dance with me.
Oh, Hannah, I'm really flattered, honey, but this just isn't the right time.
Hey, I'm sorry. You interrupting a teacher-student conference?
I wonder if this is what the university has in mind when it promises a liberal education.
Now, he's a good kid. He's just a little messed up.
I'm sure he'll be fine. With the proper guidance.
You're not like my other teachers, Professor Tripp.
You're not like my other students, James.
I love you, Grady.
That is a big trunk. It holds a tuba, a suitcase, a dead dog, and a garment bag almost perfectly.
Yeah, that's just what they used to say in the ads.
One of our students is missing, and his parents found a dead dog in his bed.
Wonder Boys. An English professor tries to deal with his wife leaving him, the arrival of his editor, who has been waiting for his book for 7 years, and various problems that his friends and associates involve him in. Directed by Curtis Hanson, written by Michael Caban, and the novel, by the way, and then Steve Kloves for the screenplay. Stars Michael Douglas, Tobey Maguire, Frances McDormand. This list is gonna go on. Hold your shorts. Robert Downey Jr., Katie Holmes, Rip Torn, and who's Alan Tudyk, and I think those were like the freaking huge ones that blew my mind when I picked this movie. And then there's plenty of other people in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of people.
So let's talk about Wonder
Let's talk about it. I think the most noteworthy thing to me in this, it's not any of the performances, it's not the cinematography, it's not the directing or the writing or anything. It is the accuracy in which they depict Pennsylvania weather.
It's true.
Because in this, for those of you who aren't from Pennsylvania, let me ring you a tune. And this is not exclusive to Pennsylvania. There are other places like this.
Yeah.
But every time this happens, we say it's Pennsylvania. It snows in this film a lot. But then the very next morning, it is raining.
Yep.
That happens so much in Pennsylvania that
We got seasons over here. We got things that happen.
We got 4 seasons every day.
Yep.
Which is saying it's something. So when that happened in this, I was just like, whoever wrote this knows Pennsylvania. And I didn't check it. I wish I had. The screenwriter's from Austin, Texas, which is just bonkers to me. The novelist
from Washington.
He's from Washington, D.C. That's a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But still not quite as crazy. And then the director, let's see where this little director is from, little Mr. Curtis Hanson. Curtis Hanson, he's from Reno, Nevada. So
somehow they all collaborated in some way. They were like, we're going to get this right, goddammit.
We're going to get it right. Michael Douglas is not from Pennsylvania. However, Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas, and he's from Pennsylvania.
And
so maybe he conspired with Michael Douglas.
I can see us right now. We're in like an FBI room connecting the dots.
Oh, man. Could you imagine your name being Michael Douglas and you wanting to be a director or an actor, and then Michael Douglas is a thing already?
Yep. I guess I'll just change my name, I guess.
Well, you didn't change it legally. Anyway, we're getting way off topic here. But that was honestly the thing that I don't want to say I loved most about it, but it impressed me the most is how accurate it was to the Pennsylvania weather.
It was kind of mind-boggling because it takes place in Pittsburgh, which the whole setting looked like it was in Pittsburgh too, which was really nice. I don't know if they actually filmed there or not, but
they did. Okay,
so
I looked up earlier. Yeah,
they're doing their shit in this movie. They're paying attention to the details here in the background. So, obviously, the main reason I picked this movie was because of the cast. I have never really ever heard of this movie otherwise.
Me neither. Until you told me about it last week, I had heard nothing about it.
I was just browsing the Amazons, and I was just like, there's a lot of people in this movie right now. You know what? Screw it. And I actually enjoyed it.
Me too.
Because, the performances were great from pretty much everybody. But there was underlying themes, you know what I'm saying, to like future stuff. Like you had mentioned with RDJ. That with him probably meeting Tobey Maguire, they maybe were like, hey, let's do the gay priest scene together
Tropic Thunder,
in
yeah.
Tropic Thunder, which I was like, wow, that's mind blowing. Because for me, this movie felt sort of like a kiss kiss bang bang type thing, and I was like, wow, Glenn, that's mind blowing.
Yeah, it does kind of have kiss kiss
Yeah.
bang bang vibes.
Especially the scene where like that what's his name what's the name of his character in this?
Who?
Vernon, when like that whole Vernon scene was going down, where like he got his car back, and then Michael Douglas was trying to get that coat back,
Yeah.
and like that whole scene right there just felt like something from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah. It was like something that was kind of dark in tone,
Yeah.
but had humorous undertones, and then ended in a way where, admittedly, in reality, it probably would not end with Vernon giving Michael Douglas a ride after they had this fight. But yeah, 100% kiss kiss bang bang vibes.
And then on top of it all, you've got, and here's a spoiler here for, well, we already talked about it, but here's a spoiler. We're going into it. At a certain point, Spider-Man kills a dog because he's trying to protect Ant-Man. And that's a thing. And then you got Iron Man just chilling with the homies and, well, kind of chilling a little too much with
To
Spider-Man at a
clarify
certain
to people,
point.
we're talking about the original Ant-Man, which in the MCU is Michael Douglas because he passes the baton to Paul Rudd. So we understand that in the Ant-Man movies, Michael Douglas is not Ant-Man, but in the lore, he was.
Yeah. So this was kind of a wild ride. I'll be honest about it, and I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would.
I'm tired of you picking movies where dogs die needlessly,
it's a
though.
weird theme that doesn't mean to happen ever.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, you texted me the other day, and I was just like, what?
I was like, Glenn, yeah, I have to ask you something. You have to be honest with me. Do you hate dogs?
I was even like talking with Zach at the moment. Like, this is either going to be really funny or like he's being completely serious. And then I got the text. I'm like, wait, he knows I love Peanut, right?
Yeah, no,
he knows I absolutely love his dog Peanut. I was just but I do love dog.
Yeah.
Or no, I typed with every fiber of my being, I hate dogs.
But
and
yeah,
then he told me that in this that the dog died. I'm like, what the fuck? What am
Yeah.
I doing?
It was just, I don't know. Even in this, the dog is attacking Michael Douglas, and I'm just like, even Michael Douglas is like, don't shoot him.
Yeah, it kind of just happens.
Yeah, it does happen really fast, and
And
like,
with Tobey Maguire's character, you understand why it happens, but
yeah,
'cause
he's
kind
definitely
of a weirdo.
he's off his rocker a bit.
But it happened. I'm like, well, let me text Mike real quick.
I think the only thing I don't care about in this film, which it makes sense for the film, I felt like it was a little voiceover heavy.
Yeah,
But he's writing a book, so it makes sense why that's the case.
yeah.
I just
At the end, it for sure makes sense, but even with that in like context, it was like I could have done without it, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I would say like maybe like 50% of the voiceover is not really needed. It doesn't really add anything except for maybe
It's more when he's alone, he like does the narration or like transitions from one place to another is when he does the narration. But like it feels like it's more just filler than it is anything else
Yeah, absolutely.
for the transition.
But going back to Tobey Maguire, I can't think of another film where he plays or where his performance is this good. It's
Brothers.
I'm sure there is one. I'm not a huge Tobey Maguire fan. Oh, Brothers, I guess he's fantastic in Brothers. But yeah, he's so.
He's got a lot of range in this movie.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Helps.
He's got very sad bits. He's got hilarious bits. It's definitely a range, as you said, and he's definitely got the most range and arc out of every character in the film. So I was really impressed with him and liked his character, even though his character was a super edgelord, just so emo. You know he listened to My Chemical Romance when they came around.
100%.
At
What
this
do you
point.
think happened when Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, exactly. It was just very impressive. He's an actor that I often forget can actually act because a lot of the characters he gets are very one-dimensional.
Yeah, he gets overlooked from time to time. But then you've got movies like this and then Brothers where he'll actually bring it home, for sure.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this movie definitely helped a lot of people in the future for their certain roles and stuff.
Yep.
Because like I said earlier, there was a lot of themes that like felt like it kind of inspired. Maybe it's a big maybe. Like I'm not saying it did for sure, but it felt like it inspired some future stuff for most of these other people in the future. Mm-hmm. So which was really cool.
I admittedly, maybe you can explain this to me. I admittedly somewhat stopped paying attention towards the end because I feel like if a movie should have ended, I kind of zone out a little bit.
Yeah.
And so how does Tobey Maguire's character end up getting honors at the end? Like, did I miss something? I feel like I definitely missed something because last I saw he was being arrested. I zoned out, and then
he was being arrested, and I think the chancellor is the actual
Rip Torn.
Yeah, no, he was a best-selling author.
The guy from It, adult, what's his face from the original It? Yeah.
He was out to get Michael Douglas's character. He wasn't out to get, James Lear, otherwise Toby. So I think when it all came through, like I think Michael Douglas's phone call kind of pushed it to want to go for Michael Douglas instead of Toby.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you had Robert Downey Jr. who published Toby, and then also at the same time he published the Chancellor. So there might be like a connection thing there.
Oh, so he dropped charges with the promise of a book. Okay.
Maybe. There was no conversation there that made that happen, but at a certain point, Michael Douglas is like, he doesn't want to put him in jail. Most it's going to happen is a certain thing, and then he's like, "Are you sure about that?" And then it kind of just, it is easy to kind of glance over,
Yeah, like I only zoned out for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes tops, and then it was like, oh, he's no longer in jail, and he's getting a standing ovation from the very person whose dog he killed. Yeah,
there was no real. It was a conversation, then it kind of goes away.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. But to bring it back to that moment, I love that ending moment where Michael Douglas walks in and realizes that Tobey Maguire's character is being honored for his book, and just cheers him on louder than everyone else, because it just... I always love movies with like teachers that have like a major influence on someone's life.
Yeah.
And this was definitely one of those films. Michael Douglas being a professor and kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? God. Toby Maguire looks up to Michael Douglas for his books. Mentor. There we go. He's being a mentor.
I'll be honest, I spaced out for a minute. I came back to you going,
maybe I said mentor twice. I might have said mentor twice. But yeah, just the whole kind of leading him down the right path situation, even though it got hairy at a certain point.
Yeah. Even though he exactly isn't on the right path, he tried to lead somebody on the right path themselves.
Yeah, so he didn't make the same mistakes that he did and all that. But yeah, I love movies like that, and yeah, I just really enjoyed this way more than I thought I would, especially with that slightly creepy poster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it literally looks like a Christmas movie type poster. It's so funny. At a certain point watching this movie, I came downstairs to like just probably get some food, and I'm like, "Hey, Olivia's my roommate." I was like, "Hey, Olivia, I'm watching a movie right now about an author making a book and like helping another person throughout some shit, and then realizing that how I was dressed, I'm wearing like a sweater that makes me look like a wicked author. Like I look like I've been writing a book for about 6 years myself. I was like, oh man, I am fitting the mold today, aren't I? Holy crap. So that was fun.
Yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about this. It's
the only other thing I would have to say is like being a writer has to suck, you know. Sometimes because
I want to be a writer. Being a writer seems like the greatest thing to me.
I feel like I'm a better producer than I would ever be a writer myself.
Yeah.
But I feel like once like you come out with something that's huge, like it's so hard to like come up with that, and like I understand that whole point. That's why a lot of movies are like this, where like there's like a one thing you do, and then like the rest of your life you're not really remembered for anything else.
I mean, I'm obviously not an established writer, but like, you got to just not. You got to compartmentalize all that. Like once you can't compare your books to each other, especially if they're so different.
And like having that like mentality of like, oh well, I gotta make it better than my last kind of has to suck. And then not only that, it also you're constantly reminded of it all the time too.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with me with Eugene versus Humanity, and then like I just couldn't write things for a while, and then I was like, I gotta stop comparing what I am writing to Eugene versus Humanity, and then once I did, I wrote something within like the next week. So
yeah, it's got to be like a good feeling to just move on from that.
It definitely is.
But I mean, for other people out there, it's just not that easy, and they're constantly and they can't get out of that rut, and that's gotta suck. Like comparing that more to a real life thing, you definitely see a lot of these characters with that problem in movies like this and so on.
Absolutely.
But I mean, other than that, that's really all I have to talk about too.
Yeah, same. So let's get into the Judgment Glunjamin button. This was your pick, so that means you got to do the dirty deed first. Does Wonder Boys become a little shelf boy with the likes of? I got to pick something else. Holy shit!
We've got a good chunk of movies now too.
Midsummer's one.
Midsummer.
And
I really need to start.
The Untouchables. The Untouchables is definitely on there.
Look at that.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised with this. I didn't expect anything from this. I looked at the cast and was like, yo, we're watching it. Get ready. And then it's got this movie poster. And then I think it was definitely better than I expected. And knowing that maybe this inspired a lot of things in the future that were also great in the future, I think definitely had a helping hand for me personally. And then just, that everybody, it was a star-studded cast and that everybody was great in it. We didn't really talk about Frances McDormand a lot, but she's great in almost everything she's in.
Absolutely, yeah. This was a few years after Fargo as well, so.
But I think personally this belongs on a shelf.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'm probably not as strong feeling about it as you. I was gonna kind of wait to see what you thought before I made my decision.
It's not like a 5 stars or anything, but I think it's definitely.
I agree. I do believe it is worthy of the shelf, with the performances and all that, and just for the accuracy of Pennsylvania weather, that's enough of a reason to be put on a shelf.
Absolutely.
So Wonder Boys makes it onto the shelf with the likes of movies that are on the shelf. That brings us to our plugs for next week. Glenn, what is your plug?
All right, so I actually had forgotten to mention this last week, and this is kind of a cop-out this week, I couldn't really find any other plugs, but I had watched the new Cobra Kai that came out on Netflix. There's now, I think, 3 seasons of it right now, which is actually awesome, because if you started watching before and you had only watched season 1 and then season 2, it's kind of like, all right, well, where the hell is this going? But at season 3, it kind of is like a nice drop-off, because I watched all 3 in like 3 days. It's like a really nice drop-off to where, like, okay, now I need to know what's going on in the next season.
Yeah. This
show's got its ups and downs. I was never a Karate Kid fan to begin with, personally. But I think as far as the 3 seasons goes, it's worth it. It's worth the watch. The action scenes are pretty cool. The biggest fault with this, and a lot of people will argue with me about it, because it was the point of all the movies to begin with, is if people just had talked to each other like actual fucking adults, a lot of the problems in this movie wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Because it's the thing. It's like a rivalry between Daniel Russo and Johnny. Just it's constant rivalry. But if they're adults, if they literally just had talked to each other about a certain thing while they were seeing each other at the moments, it would just not be happening. And everybody should have lawsuits and be locked up in this show, but we're gonna keep watching it. Like everybody's beating each other's ass in public, but like they're fine. They're fine.
Yeah, I watched the first episode. I liked it. I just didn't continue watching it. I will go back to it eventually, but
I think right now is a good point where it's like, all right, now I'm actually anticipating what's going to happen next. But unfortunately, it's 3 seasons of shit you have to watch.
Yeah,
not shit. I won't. It's not shit.
You meant shit as in stuff, not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just it's you gotta watch it. It's fun. If you were watching Karate Kid, you're gonna love it. I was talking to my mom about it, and she was just like, "Oh my god, I love that show." I'm sure you did. Yeah. She's like, "Listen," and I brought up the argument thing about like the talking, and she's like, "Yeah, but you gotta understand, like you didn't watch Karate Kid growing up. Like it's not your thing." I'm like, no, it's my thing. It's just fucking talk to each other.
Yeah.
It's funny. But regardless, Cobra Kai, it's on Netflix. There's 3 seasons right now. They're obviously working on a 4th, but I'm sure COVID's probably restricting that a little bit.
Bonsai! Daniel LaRusso here for LaRusso Auto. We are chopping prices on all of our inventory. Johnny? I knew it was you. This is Johnny Lawrence. He and I go way back.
Oh, this is a guy whose ass you kicked.
If you want to get technical, I kicked his face.
Hey, where you going, come man? Oh, I didn't know you guys were trying to buy beer. Hey! Watch your car, man. Get the hell out of here, loser.
Was that like Taekwondo or something?
It's karate.
Do you think you could teach me?
I'm driving home from work yesterday, and in this strip mall, I see... After 30 years, I thought that guy might have changed, but he's still the same prick. I heard you beat up a bunch of teenagers.
I didn't beat up any teenagers. I kicked the crap out of a bunch of assholes who deserved it.
Thinks he can bring Cobra Kai back to the Valley? Yeah. Not on my watch.
You want those kids at school to keep dumping things on your head? You want all the girls to think you're a wangless dork? You're gonna be my karate teacher? No. I'm gonna be your sensei.
Yeah.
But anyway, Miguel me gustó.
My plug for this week is A24's Screening Room. A24 has kind of coded and built in a way for people to watch films that are limited releases by purchasing tickets for them, kind of making it more than just like watch it whenever. It kind of bringing the whole, still kind of based around a showtime, but also watched the comfort of your home. Yeah. So it's kind of, it's hard to explain, but it's like a mix. But I like it. I like that you only have like a certain amount of time to watch it.
Okay.
And so that's Screening Room at A24 Films. Right now they have tickets that you can purchase for certain showtimes on for the film Minari, which is
it's like a trying to be movie theater experience, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also just trying to limit the amount of people that see it.
Yeah.
Which I also respect, because I'm sure they're still trying to push people to go to theaters, because A24 is the only thing gonna keep us alive, Glenn.
It's the only thing keeping my blood pumping.
Yeah, I love A24, and they deserve everything in the world.
Absolutely.
And everyone thinks I'm like a A24 like cultist, but I'm not, because my favorite movie's an A24 film, but my least favorite film is also A24.
Yeah, I guess it's a very love-hate relationship,
yes,
but also mostly love.
I like their business model.
Yeah.
So that is why I talk about them all the time. Anyway, that is screeningroom.a24films.com. You can purchase tickets for a showtime for the film Minari, which they are going to release on the platform Friday, February 12th. And yeah, tickets go on sale on February 8th. So you can check that John out.
All right.
Yeah. That brings us to our pick of the week for next week, or our assignment for the week for next week, and it is Streaming Roulette Week. For those of you who don't remember, we spin the Streaming Roulette wheel 3 times and pick out of those 3 options, unless we don't like those options, and then we just kind of make up our own rules.
That's in the fine print. Who knows?
But without any further ado, here comes the first spin. Greedy Lying Bastards. I like that title, but it doesn't look promising.
2012 film?
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, that's the year we were all going to die.
It is a documentary. Yeah, we're going to die in 2012. It's a documentary. Melting sea ice, glacier loss, and rising sea levels, severe droughts and wildfires, increasingly severe tornadoes. Oh my God. Hurricanes and flooding, record heat waves. Climate change is no longer a prediction of the future, but starting to be a reality today. It goes on from there, but that's that. It is a documentary directed by Craig Scott Rosabraw and written by Patrick Gambuti Jr. and Craig, good old Craig himself. And starring a bunch of people, politicians.
Mainly politicians, yes.
Yep. So that is Greedy Lying Bastards, which it seems like the best thing about it is the title. 5.7 on IMDb, 56 Metacritic score. That is on Amazon Prime. That is our first option. Our second spin is underway. I Will Always Love You, 2006, yeah. Starring Richard Gutierrez, Angel Loshin, Baron Miley, and Tuesday Vargas. Directed by Mac Alejandra and written by Rosel E. Monteverde and R.J. Nueves. Oh, there's three more. Suzette Doctorow and no, so that was the last one. It lied to me. I Will Always Love You is about two people learn to what real love is all about. I'm so bad at this right now. They both learn about making long-term commitment and giving each other dignity and respect. The story offers hope, positivity, and the kind of escapism that renders pleasant dreams and something to reach for. Bring your hanky. It's a tearjerker, but it will make you leap in tears of joy. It is a Filipino movie. So that is I Will Always Love You. That is going to be on, it doesn't say, Amazon. It's going to be on Amazon. I Will Always Love You. That brings us to our third and final, maybe, spin. That's happening now. Oh, my God. Oh, Glenn. Actually, this is not a feature film, so we're not doing that one. But just so you know how terrible and how almost terrible it was, The History of Christmas and Santa Claus, Santa's Sleigh Ride. Yeah, that is a short film, so we're not watching that one. Apocalypse Road. Oh, God. Look at that IMDb score when you get it on. 2016.
Oh, that is a movie.
That is a movie on Amazon Prime. Apocalypse Road follows the journey of two sisters while separated during a post-apocalyptic depression. Written and directed by Brett Bentman, starring Katie Kohler, Ashlyn McEvers, Lance De Los Santos. Ooh, I like that name, sorry. And Nelly Sciuto. And that's on Amazon Prime. It looks very low budget, like micro budget. They don't even post the budget. And that is a 3.4 out of 10 on IMDb.
I just came across one of the reviews. If you're a Marvel multi-billion-dollar movie guy, don't watch this. If you love indie flicks, watch this. Very artistic in thought. The poster is a tad misleading, but the movie isn't really that bad.
The thing, it seems like it's... Like, I'm sure it's better than a lot of people think. Mm-hmm. But it also does not look good.
This is quite selection. This is probably one of the
worst ones. I wish we had that Batman one or whatever it was.
That dog bat or whatever it was called. Yeah. Or fox bat.
So I'm gonna let you decide. Should we ask the film gods, spin a fourth time and see if the film gods...
Let's see what the fourth is.
Okay. So let's see what the film gods say. Men from the Monastery. It looks like it's a kung fu movie, it looks like.
Oh. Otherwise known as Zhao Lin Zidi. Zidai. From 1974? Oh, wait, what the fuck? Wait, is this the same movie? It's also called Dragon's Teeth.
Yeah, 1974. Also known as Xiao Lin Ziji and Dragon's Teeth. It is directed by Che Chang and written by Che Chang and Kwang Ni, starring Quan Tai Chen, Sheng Fu, Quan Chun Chi, and Chi Hong Cheng. It is about when the godfather of Kung Fu film Cheng Che decided to tell the stories with Alexander Fu Cheng, Cheng Kwang Tai, and Chi Kwang Chung in the roles. Sorry, I had to open it more. It was cause for celebration. This film is one of the most beloved. This is not a synopsis. Each hero is given
his own story when they come all together in the final day-long battle with hundreds of troops. The effect is unforgettable. So I guess it's about a couple different characters, and then a thing happens at the end.
Yeah. So in my mind, the film gods were like, you don't deserve greatness, but...
Yeah, good luck depicting what this is.
Yeah.
But also, here's a Kung Fu movie.
And this is on Amazon Prime. It has 3 titles, one of which is in Mandarin or Cantonese. I'm not sure what... Mandarin. It says Mandarin. Oh my God. No, it's Men from the Monastery, a.k.a. Disciples of Death, a.k.a. Dragon's Teeth, a.k.a. Shaolin ZG.
Oh my God. Why not?
So, we haven't done a Kung Fu film, so I think this would be fun.
Yeah, might as well. Alright, so they were kind of good to us, but they were like, just decrypt what the fuck is happening here.
Yeah. And also, we're going to make you probably mispronounce all these Mandarin names.
Yep.
Again, as always, I apologize ahead of time.
I reckon that I've killed most of them.
My father was murdered, and you know it too.
He killed himself. And that is that. You, Chen, you want trouble?
You're just protecting Chen Lun. I'm going to get them, though.
Now Chin Chung and his men have raised Shaolin. And as long as we live, we shall fight.
So that is our assignment for next week, which is Men from the Monastery, a.k.a. Disciples of Death, a.k.a. Dragon's Teeth, a.k.a. Shaolin DD. That is on Amazon Prime. As always, you can check out our website, KeystoneFilmReview.com, on Instagram, Keystone_Film_Review, Twitter, Keystone_Film, Facebook, Keystone Film Review, YouTube, Keystone Film Review, and on Letterboxd, I am Mike, KFR.
And I am Glenn, KFR.
And that will do it until next week when we watch a Kung Fu film, which I believe, Glenn, you're a fan of.
I do like some Kung Fu.
I am hit or miss with them. I like Hero and Jet Li's Fearless and others. House of Flying Daggers is good.
Kung Fu Hustle.
Kung Fu Hustle. Oh, I love Kung Fu Hustle. Goodbye, everybody.
And then he longingly said goodbye.
He longingly
looked deep into the abyss of the twilight, knowing that he will see you guys next week. Goodbye.